How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Just Nobody's podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm your host, Daniel.
And today we're doing a podcast.
Woo!
If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button. The like button is the one with the thumbs up because that means you're awesome and you're a winner. Because you know only losers put thumbs down.
Oh.
You got to be kind of a loser to really think about that. You're going to take the time to send hate to someone. So to all yous who hit the like button, if you ever say you hit the like button, I will personally thank you so much. I will go up to your face and say thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, with my words. So thank you to everyone who hits thumbs up. And if you hit thumbs down, it's all right. We don't need to talk. It's all right. You don't have to watch. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's just one of those days, I guess, for you.
We love you still.
You're a Karen.
What's the guy version of a Karen?
A Rick.
Really? A Rick?
I don't know. I just said Rick. Anyways, also comment what you want us to talk about next week. As you can see throughout this video, we took your guys' suggestions from last week, and we're talking about it this week. So make sure you comment. This week for Marvel has been crazy. We just got some Madam Web leaked set photos.
Ooh.
Looks like we're getting some kind of form of Spider-Man. I'm not sure.
I don't know what that was.
Okay, there's two big things that just happened this week. Okay, one, Madam Web looks like it could be the clone version of Peter Parker. I don't want to get into it because I don't know all the details yet. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But there's a possibility that it could be the comic book story where there's a clone of Peter Parker, comes back, and he's going to destroy Peter Parker.
Whoa.
People are saying that it looks like Tom Holland. It looks like also like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah.
So as we know, Aaron Taylor Johnson's also Kraven.
Kraven the Hunter.
And if they're doing like a multiverse story, it would make sense that Aaron Taylor Johnson could be Quicksilver, could be Kraven, could be Spider-Man in some universe, right? Like it's
There's
possible.
a lot. Yeah.
Another rumor. Big rumor.
Uh-oh.
It's not really a rumor. I think it's been confirmed. I'm just saying rumor to everyone out there that's a Karen that wants to like get upset about this. I'm just saying this just to protect us.
It's a big Karen episode.
There's a rumor, okay, that Henry Cavill is going to be in Black Adam.
What?
And there's reports that he's in the post-credit scene setting up the fight between Black Adam and Superman.
Really?
And even The Rock posted today on his story saying Black Adam's coming out, you should download the song, right, the new theme song. And he says Black Adam is the strongest being on this planet, and he winks at the camera, implying that there's also a chance that Superman also exists.
Right, like Krypton.
Right, so it sure looks like Henry Cavill's coming back,
Oh.
and apparently he's not going to be wearing his Justice League suit, like the black suit. He's going to be wearing more of a Man of Steel blue.
Oh, like the blue and red.
Yeah, so it's the iconic suit. It's coming back, and we all know Henry Cavill's done a phenomenal job as Superman, and he has not been given the best treatment in terms of where's he been?
Right.
You have such a great Superman. Why don't you have a Superman movie? Keep them coming. People want it.
Yeah, people definitely want it. You got to deliver.
Yeah, so it's great to hear that The Rock has finally secured it. Come on, DC, bring Henry Cavill back home.
Yeah.
Let this happen. We all want it, right? I mean, comment if you want Henry Cavill. I think he's done an amazing job.
100%.
So, justice for Henry. Can we get justice for Henry in the comments? Justice for Henry. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, things for the DC universe are looking up right now, honestly.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the Black Adam trailers that are in the TV spots. It looks phenomenal. It looks like, I'm sure The Rock has put his blood, sweat, and tears into this, so it's going to be good.
I mean, as he does all of his movies.
Yeah. So what do you got for us today?
Okay, so moving on to the theories, there's a crazy Fairly OddParents theory on who's hiding a really big secret.
So who's hiding the secret?
Okay, it's honestly someone you would never expect. So if you watch Fairly OddParents and you look at all the characters' eyes, it actually reveals a really big secret about each character. So for Timmy, he has really big blue eyes, but he doesn't have a pupil. It's literally just the color. And same goes for Mr. Crocker, Timmy's parents, Vicky, and Timmy's crush, Trixie.
Got it. So no pupils, just color.
Right, but if you look at Cosmo and Wanda's eyes, each of them have their signature color, but they have pupils. And that literally goes for all the other fairies in the show. So that means if you see someone with a pupil in the show, they're a fairy.
What? I never noticed that.
Yeah, but this is where it gets really crazy. So if you look at Timmy's crush, Trixie, she actually has a best friend named Veronica. But if you look at Veronica's eyes, she has pupils. So the theory is that Veronica is actually Trixie's fairy in disguise, and Trixie just wished that her fairy would be her best friend so she doesn't have to hide her anywhere. Because we know that throughout the show, Timmy is always disguising Cosmo and Wanda as a bunch of different things to keep them away from everyone.
That's actually a really crazy theory.
Right? I mean, you see Timmy always disguising him like they're like goldfish or like they're a pen and an eraser.
Yeah. Never just, fairies just floating around.
Exactly.
Around his friends.
Yeah, because he doesn't want them to see them.
Right.
But if Trixie has her fairy be her best friend, then everybody will see her and just think she's a normal person.
Yeah, because I guess that's her disguise, right? It's just the best friend.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
I would love to hear what Butch Hartman has to say.
So it's the perfect disguise.
It's not a coincidence. There's no way.
Yeah.
They make a distinct point to show that fairies have pupils. The friends, the normal people, have no pupils.
Yeah, they just have literally, it's just the color.
And I know Timmy Turner, the Fairly Fairly OddParents have been on like TV forever.
Yeah.
So for the animator to continue to like make Trixie's best friend Veronica have pupils and the other friends don't, I mean, come on, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's too like close in comparison. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so on to the next one. Have you heard of the Ice Age theory?
Okay, just don't ruin Ice Age today. Okay, let's not do this.
Okay, this actually doesn't ruin anything. So in Ice Age 1, there's a scene where all the characters are walking through an ice cave. But there's a theory that this short scene literally predicts all the other Ice Age movies.
How does it predict it?
So in the cave, the first thing that Sid sees frozen in the ice is a piranha. And in Ice Age 2, Scrat the squirrel is literally fighting a bunch of piranhas to get his acorn.
He's always chasing after the acorn.
Yeah, then the next thing that Sid sees frozen in the ice is a T-Rex. And in Ice Age 3, we see them get introduced to dinosaurs. And we see the same T-Rex in the ice in the movie. And the last thing that Sid sees frozen in the ice is the evolution of the sloth. And we know in Ice Age 4, Sid gets reunited with his sloth family. So everything happened in the order he saw the things in the ice.
It's so sad how they just released that clip of Scrat finally getting his acorn.
Scrat was struggling, man.
It's so sad. I don't know. Wait, was that like concluding Ice Age? Was that like them saying it's over?
Must be.
No, there's no way.
Every movie, Scrat never got his acorn.
No, I don't understand. Why did they release that clip with like a couple months ago? They released that. Remember? We see Scrat finally gets the acorn. Is that trying to tell the audience that it's over?
Maybe.
Ah, it's so sad. Justice for Ice Age. Let's see that in the comments. Justice for Ice Age. Let's get a petition going.
Justice for Ice Age. We need to see it. We need to see it. Okay, so we got to get into some more crazy news. Did you see how proof of aliens was leaked?
What are you even saying?
So the U.S. intelligence office that tracks aviation, so like the flights of aircrafts, they actually just changed their logo. But what's weird about this logo is you see a bunch of airplanes on it, but you actually see a UFO on it too.
There's no way they would do that.
Yeah, you would think, but right after they posted this new logo, they took it down and said it was a mistake. But you can clearly see that there was a UFO on it.
Was it like a really obvious UFO?
Yeah, and in 2019, the Navy literally leaked footage of aircrafts flying with unidentified aircraft, but they said it wasn't for the public. And in the footage, you can clearly see that it's definitely not any sort of plane. It definitely looks like a UFO, but they're not even calling it UFOs anymore. They're calling it like unidentified aircraft phenomena or something.
I feel like we're supposed to be scared. That's really weird.
Okay, why would the intelligence office put that on their logo? It's a UFO.
Yeah, they're just like teasing us at this point. Justice for UFOs. Comment that in the comments.
I don't want to meet aliens.
Yeah, we don't want to meet them. I heard that there's a theory that they're observing us and like we're the test subjects and they're watching us.
Oh, jeez. I hate stuff like that.
Okay, so moving on. Do you know the crazy Captain America theory?
No.
So we all know what happens at the end of Avengers Endgame, right? We see Steve. He takes back all the Infinity Stones and he's going to take back Mjolnir. But what if I told you that there's one Infinity Stone that he could not return?
What do you mean?
So we learned in Avengers Endgame, in order to get the Soul Stone, you have to give up a soul to get the Soul Stone. And we learned that when Hulk tries to snap everyone back to life, he could not bring back Natasha because whoever sacrifices their life for the Soul Stone can never be revived. So this is where the theory comes in. There's a theory that since the Soul Stone cannot be returned, Red Skull is no longer the guardian of the Soul Stone, and it is now Steve Rogers' job to guard the Soul Stone because he can't put the Soul Stone back. It's with him forever.
When you really think about that, that does make a lot of sense.
Right, and that's why at the end of Avengers Endgame, we see Steve grew very old because all this time he was actually guarding the Soul Stone, trying to hide away from people. And this allowed him to have a family and stay hidden, but at the same time still save the world every day. And Sam Wilson and the Hulk has hinted that Steve Rogers is still alive because the power of the Soul Stone allows someone to bring back the dead. So maybe one day old Captain America will use the Soul Stone to resurrect Tony Stark when they need him. Hint, hint, Secret Wars.
Okay, I could totally see Marvel doing that.
The power of the Soul Stone, it literally says can bring back the dead. You know what I mean? In the soul realm. So that's how they could do it.
Right, and who better to bring him back than Captain America?
Yeah, because the world's gonna be needed saving, and Steve Rogers is gonna say like, "Hey guys, I'm back, and I'm gonna bring back my buddy."
Oh, that's good.
I mean, I just feel like, okay, Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, I know he says he's done, but I think he's gonna be coming back eventually.
Okay, you have to for Secret Wars. Come on.
Yeah, and it would make sense that he could just go into the soul realm and just bring back some versions, you know?
Yeah.
Like, hey Tony, come back.
You know, it does make sense because it's like there's all those theories about him like staying on the moon or something off planet.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that he's protecting the Soul Stone off planet.
Ooh. And we know Nick Fury is in space.
Exactly. They've been dropping Steve a lot in these shows.
Yeah. It seems like
they're building up something.
Yeah, and it's funny how they're just not like saying, yes, Steve Rogers is dead. It's over. You know?
Yeah.
The fact that they're not having a definitive statement, it means he's probably still alive.
Exactly.
They want to leave it open for him to come back.
100%.
Okay, so moving on from that, we got another nostalgia moment with High School Musical 4. So do you know the crazy High School Musical 4 theory?
No.
So we all know how like High School Musical just announced how High School Musical, the series, is going to bring back a bunch of original cast members from High School Musical, the movie. And a lot of people are very confused like how they're going to do this.
Yeah, it's definitely a confusing concept how they're going to bring everyone back.
So right now, the confirmed cast members that will be coming back from the original movie is Corbin Blue, who played Chad, Lucas Gabriel, Ryan, Taylor, Martha, Bart Johnson, and Alyssa Reed, who played, Coach Bolton and Mrs. Darbus. But what if I told you they're not being completely honest with everyone?
So they're lying?
So the theory is that Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens will actually be in the show, but will be surprise cameos later in the show. And we both know that Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens did go visit East High and had a little reunion photo. And Zac Efron has expressed in the past that if there was a new High School Musical, he would love to be able to come back. So there's no better time to come back if literally everybody's coming back.
Okay, hang on. I did not know he said that.
And the premise of High School Musical, the series, season 4, is High School Musical 4 is being shot, the movie. So how could you be shooting High School Musical 4 without Troy Bolton and Gabriella being in the movie? Believe me, they would not have the premise of the show being High School Musical 4 being filmed if Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens aren't in the movie. It would make no sense. How could you have a High School Musical 4 movie without them?
I mean, they probably are going to release an actual High School Musical 4 movie too.
Yeah, it seems like this is the perfect way to set it up. Let's have a musical series TV show show us filming High School Musical 4. At the very end of the show, all of a sudden, something comes on the screen, and it says, Thor will be back. It will say, High School Musical 4 will be soon.
Oh my gosh.
If you're really serious, think about this. How could you have a High School Musical 4 movie without Troy, without Gabriella, without Sharpay? Those three are huge characters.
Right.
If the show wasn't going to have them come back, you might as well just said, look, we're just going to have the original High School Musical cast. Some of them come back to help you guys get ready for High School Musical 3 to play.
Yeah.
But instead, they're saying, we're filming High School Musical 4, and you're not going to have the two main characters from the whole show, the whole movie.
Yeah.
All three movies.
They can't do that.
You're going to drop them when you're filming the fourth movie?
Yeah, you can't.
No, it doesn't make sense. Comment below if you feel Zac Efron should be in it, and if Vanessa Hudgens should be in it, and if Ashley Tisdale should be in it.
They have to be in it.
Well, let's see. Do you guys feel like they should be in it? I think they should.
Okay, so on to the next thing. I know a lot of people have been liking the social experiments.
It is interesting because we all can relate to it, I know what I would do in certain situations, but it's scary to think about how collectively we all kind of have the same response.
Right.
Something looks kind of scary, you kind of want to turn the other way,
Yeah, so have you seen the experiment that showed if people were followers or independent people?
I feel like this is going to expose so many people.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of paid actors in a doctor's office, and there was only one real patient. And in this doctor's office, every few minutes they would ring a bell. And when this bell rang, all the hired actors would stand up for no reason and sit back down. And they continued to do this a bunch of times, and this really confused the real patient because she has no idea what they're doing.
It is really bizarre to see a bunch of people just stand up randomly.
Right, but what's crazy is after seeing all the paid actors stand up and sit down a bunch of times, the real patient started to follow them. And whenever the bell rang, she would stand and sit down. And she had no idea why she was doing it. She was just following everybody. So then she keeps on doing it with all the paid actors, and they start to remove the paid actors from the doctor's office one at a time. So now it's just the real patient by herself in the room. And you could still see she's still standing and sitting every time the bell rings.
They exposed her bad, huh?
Yeah, and then a new patient walks in that's also not a hired actor, so it's a real patient. And every time the bell rings, he sees this random girl standing and sitting down randomly. So he asks her, what are you doing? She goes, I don't know. Everybody else was just doing it. So then the new patient starts doing it with her, proving that they were both followers and they just weren't independent people and couldn't think for themselves.
Who would even think to do such an experiment? That's so weird.
It's such a weird experiment, but it's so interesting.
I guess because you see how when people see a bunch of people doing one thing, you don't want to be the odd one out, so you kind of just conform. You just yep, I'm gonna just stand too.
Right, but that's so weird, right?
Yeah.
If you see majority doing it, you're just gonna do it.
Yeah, could you imagine if it was something weird, everyone stands up, puts their finger in their nose, and then sits down? If they started adding things to it, and then they wanted to see what extent person would go.
Exactly.
We should do that.
We should
do that. Comment if you want us to do that.
6,000 likes, we'll do a social experiment.
Okay, fine. If this gets 6,000 likes, we will actually make a real life social experiment, and we'll pay actors, and we'll just try to see with our friends. We'll do it on our friends and see how they react.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
Okay, so moving on. Here we have another interesting story. I want to say this one's gonna top last week's, so make sure you hit the like button if you like stories. If you don't like stories, don't do anything. Just watch the video. If you end up liking the story afterwards, give it a like. But if you don't like it, just
keep watching.
Come back next week and maybe it'll be better. But if you like this story, let us know and make sure you give us a thumbs up if you want us to continue these stories. So I will keep doing them as long as you want me to keep talking about them. Okay, so this one, a little bit creepy, a little bit scary. Not really. Just stick around. It's gonna be fine. Okay. You may get a little scared, but it's okay because this is a good story.
I like scary stories, so I'm all for this.
So do you know the creepy story about the mom who would wear a mask?
No.
So the story starts off with a pair of twin boys, and one is named Ellis and one is named Lucas. And basically their parents just got a divorce and the family's now broken up. And the father actually won custody of the boys, and they haven't seen their mom in like years, for like a very long time. So after a couple years go by, the mom reaches out to the dad and says like, hey, I want to see my kids again. Like, can you bring them to my house? So the dad drives the two boys to the mom's farmhouse, but the dad knows that the mom doesn't want anything to do with the dad, and he just says, okay boys, you just go in the house, I'm just gonna leave, your mom doesn't want to see me.
That's really sad.
Yeah, so the twin boys walk into the house and they're looking for their mom and they can't find her, and then they look outside and they notice that the barn is all locked up and boarded up, and they still can't find their mom. So they go up to her room and notice that her room is super dark, all the blinds are shut, and they can't find her. And in her room they find a plate full of like chicken wings and like flies are flying on it.
What the heck?
Yeah, so their mom finally walks out and she's wearing this bandage on her face because she tells them, I recently had a procedure on my face and it's healing. So her sons are like really kind of freaked out by this whole bandage thing on the face.
Okay, that just sounds really freaky.
Yeah, because the kids are like really weirded out by this because no one told them that their mom had this procedure. Like their dad had no idea. So the mom tells her sons like, guys, you cannot tell anybody that I have had this procedure done. So later that day, the twins go to their room and they're trying to like theorize like what's going on with the mom and what she looks like underneath the bandages. So Lucas tells Ellis that she probably has like a bunch of scars underneath her bandages, and Ellis is like, that's disgusting. Like, why would you say that?
If the bandage is covering her face, she's got to be pretty messed up.
Yeah, so the mom walks into the room and just walks up to Ellis, totally ignores Lucas, hands Ellis a toy and tells him like, I'm sorry for being so distant and I hope that we could become closer. So the mom starts telling the two boys the rules of the house. She says that there's no running or yelling and that there's no play dates. No one can come over to the house. And she tells them that no one's allowed to be in the barn and that all the blinds in the house must always be shut because sunlight can damage her face and she can't be exposed to the sun.
Dude, those are some weird rules.
Yeah, so she also tells them that no one's allowed in her room and they cannot go in there. So then all of a sudden Ellis hands his mom a drawing that he drew for her and he gives her a hug. But while he's giving her a hug, you can tell that the mom is like hiding the fact that she's really mad at him. So throughout the day, the kids hang out and they hang out with their mom and they have dinner. But when it was time to go to bed, they realize that the mom no longer sings them a lullaby. And Ellis asks the mom like, why don't you sing us a lullaby like you used to? And the mom tells him like, I'm just not in the mood to do that.
Come on, just do it for the kids.
Yeah, so then Ellis and Lucas start like talking to each other and they're like, something's up with our mom. Like, this is wrong. This is really weird. So Lucas just starts singing the lullaby to help Ellis go to sleep. And then Ellis and Lucas are singing together. But outside the door, the mom was sitting outside listening to them sing. And this really upset her hearing them sing.
What is wrong with her?
So the next day, the twins decide like, let's go sneak into the barn. So they get into the barn where they're not supposed to be. And they notice all their old toys are still there. But then all of a sudden, Ellis looks up and he sees this hole in the barn with a bunch of red around it. And this makes him really nervous. And he's like, what the heck? So he runs out of the barn.
What do you mean by red hole?
So all of a sudden, when they get out of the barn, the mom says like, what are you guys doing? How dare you break the rule? Like, don't you ever do that again. So Ellis starts thinking about it and he realizes that the red in the barn looks like blood. But then his brother Lucas told him like, nah, it was probably just paint.
Okay, it is never just paint.
So later that night when Ellis was sleeping, all of a sudden he wakes up because he hears a gunshot from the barn. So he gets out of bed and he starts like walking downstairs and he sees his mom on the phone. And the mom seems like really angry and like really annoyed. And he hears her say, I'm so sick of how Ellis and Lucas are so close together. And she also says how she can't handle this and she doesn't know how much longer she can do this.
It is not looking good for them.
Yeah, so Ellis gets really scared and he's like, what the heck is going on? So he runs to his room and he like gets under his covers. But in the process of doing that, his mom heard him. So the mom starts walking up the stairs to go to his room and tries to check on him. So Ellis tries to stay really still and try to pretend like he's sleeping. And the mom's just like grabbing him and she's like, okay, go to sleep. So the next day, Ellis tells Lucas what he heard the mom say the night before and how she doesn't want them being close together and that she's really annoyed. And then all of a sudden the mom's phone rings. So she grabs her phone and like walks up the stairs so that they can't hear her talk. So they decide to get walkie-talkies. And while the mom was like resting downstairs on the couch, they went to go into her room to try to plant the walkie-talkies to always hear her.
This is about the time where it all starts going wrong.
Yeah, so when Ellis goes into the mom's room, he realizes that there's like a lot of things off with her room. Like he finds medication that she's taking, and then he notices like a bunch of photos in her room room are missing, and then he finds a photo of him and his brother like face down, as if she was trying to hide it from herself. But then all of a sudden, the mom decides to go to her room, so Ellis and Lucas have to try to hide.
Here we go.
So Ellis is watching his mom as he's hiding, but as he's backing up, he accidentally bumps into a trash can, and he sees the drawing that he made for his mom in the trash, all wrinkled up.
Okay, that's messed up.
Yeah, so the mom walks up to the mirror because she has to change the bandages on her face. But since Ellis is underneath the sink, he cannot see the mom's face. So she's like changing the bandages, and then she starts walking out of her room. But as she's walking out of the room, she notices the drawing on the ground. So she picks up the drawing, rips it up, and drops it in the trash can.
I still don't understand what's wrong with this mom.
Yeah, so Ellis grabs the ripped drawing out of the trash can, takes it to his brother Lucas, and like they look at this and they're like, what is up with our mom? Who would do such a thing? Like, that is so weird.
She literally seems crazy.
Yeah, so Lucas tells Ellis that that is not their mom, and that is an imposter, and that this lady is trying to pretend to be their mom, but it's not actually their mom. But Ellis is like, dude, no way, Lucas. There's no way that's happening. So Lucas tries to sneak a picture of the imposter, and they compare it to like an old photo of their mom, and they realize that their old photo of their mom had blue eyes, and this imposter doesn't have blue eyes.
Wait, what?
So now both of the kids are really convinced that that's not their mom. So they get out their phone and try to call their dad, but they can't get a hold of their dad. But they lock themselves in the room, and the mom realizes that they're in the room and the door's locked. So she starts getting really upset, and she's like, come on, guys, like, forgive me. I'm so sorry I've been so distant, but I really want to hang out with you guys. And she's like, let me in. I made you guys chicken fingers. Like, it's fresh for you. But Lucas tells Ellis that there is no way we're going outside. That is not our mom. So the day goes by, and it's nighttime now, and Ellis is watching an old video of his mom singing the lullaby to him. But in the process, all of a sudden, the mom breaks down the door and pushes through, and the mom gets super mad at them for calling their dad and takes their phone, destroys it, and says, don't you ever call your dad again.
Okay, I would be freaking out if I were these kids.
Yeah, so the boys get so scared, so they run into their room, they put their dresser against the door like to have like a barricade, and like time goes by, and they realize that they don't hear anything on the walkie-talkie. So Ellis is like, I'm gonna go see what mom's doing because I can't hear anything. So Ellis walks outside to try to find his mom, and then he sees his mom resting with a mask on. So Ellis wants to try to remove the mask, so he reaches out, tries to remove it, and all of a sudden the mom grabs his hand and starts shaking him.
Oh, Ellis is done.
So Ellis gets away from the mom, runs into his bedroom, closes the door, puts the dresser against the door, but the mom gets a crowbar, starts breaking down the door, busts in, and she says, hey, you better start respecting me and stop being so rude. So Ellis tells the mom, you are not my mom, you're an imposter. And then the mom gets really upset at Ellis, and then Ellis is like, dude, I am not having this, like, screw you, you're not my mom. So the mom grabs Ellis and takes him to the bathroom and starts putting water on him and says, like, you better admit that I am your mom because I am your mom. And Ellis finally just says, okay, screw it, you're my mom, even though he doesn't believe it.
Okay, what's pouring water on the kid gonna do?
So the kids just run away, and they find a police officer and say, like, my mom is not my mom, it's an imposter, some lady's trying to be my mom. So the police are like, okay, calm down, and they don't believe the kids, so they just drive the kids back to the mom's house. And on the way back to the mom's house, the mom comes out of the house without the mask on, and her face looks totally normal, and she tells the police, like, Ellis is lying, he's just like in like a fantasy, it's all lies. So the police believe the mom, and they just leave. So the boys go up to their bedroom, and they like try to pretend like they're fake sleeping again, and then the mom walks into the bedroom and says, like, I know you guys are fake sleeping, and I'm not leaving until you start to like me.
So the cops just left these kids with this mom.
Yeah, so later that night, after the kids fall asleep, the mom goes to her room, and she just starts crying her eyes out, and she's like just so stressed out. So the next morning comes, and the mom wakes up, and she's duct tied to her bed, and the twins are in the room, and they say, like, why are you trying to pretend to be our mom? Like, why are you an imposter? And the lady tells them, I am your mom. In the photo of me when I was younger, I used to wear blue contacts in my eyes. And she tells the boys, look, go in my purse, I still have the colored contacts in there. So Ellis tells Lucas, go look in the purse and see if they're there. So Lucas goes to go look, and he says, Ellis, they're not here. So Ellis gets a bucket of cold water and dumps it on the mom and says, how dare you? Why would you ever throw away your kids' drawings? Like, what kind of sick person would do that? And the mom just starts crying, and Ellis is kind of like taken back, like, huh, maybe it is my mom, she's crying.
I don't know who to believe.
Well, Lucas tells Ellis, like, let's leave, it's time to leave. So they all start running outside, but Ellis has like a second thought, and he's like, I want to see the lady one last time. So he lies to Lucas and says, I forgot my toothbrush. Lucas, you wait for the car, I'm gonna run back inside. And then when Ellis gets back into the house, he wants to go see the lady's purse just to check if the contacts were there, and he reaches in, he realized the colored contacts were there and that she wasn't lying. So then all of a sudden Lucas appears from behind him and tells him, Ellis, please believe me, I'm not lying to you. And Ellis gets really freaked out by Lucas and starts trying to run away, and Lucas starts trying to chase him.
Why would Lucas lie to Ellis?
So Ellis gets to his mom and unties her, and like they just start hugging each other, and they're apologizing, and Lucas is no longer chasing him. So the mom forgives Ellis and is like, it's okay, like, I totally understand. And then the mom realizes, like, okay, it's time to tell you the truth, Ellis. So she takes Ellis to the barn, and she wants to explain to him why the parents divorced.
So she's gonna tell him the truth now.
So she reveals to Ellis that when he was younger, he accidentally killed his brother Lucas because he didn't realize that the gun had a bullet in it and he accidentally shot his brother. And that's why there's a hole in the barn with a blood splat on it. And it turns out this whole time Ellis has been imagining Lucas and he's not really there. But the death of Lucas is what made the mom get a divorce and go into depression.
Okay, this is honestly giving me goosebumps.
So Ellis just starts crying, like freaking out, like he cannot believe that he did such a thing. And the mom's trying to comfort him and like, you're forgiven, it's okay. But out of frustration, Ellis just pushes the mom. But in the process of pushing the mom falls off the ledge and she dies. And all of a sudden the lantern fell and the barn just catches on fire.
What?
Yeah, so Ellis gets out of the barn, starts running away. But then all of a sudden he kind of falls a little bit and then he looks up and he sees his mom and his brother Lucas again. And that's how the story ends.
So all this time, Ellis is just imagining Lucas.
Yeah, so now he's imagining Lucas and his mom. So he's like convincing himself that they're still alive, but they're not.
Dude, this is a freaky story.
So guys, if you like the stories, make sure you hit the like button. Also comment if you have any other stories or like anything you want me to tell, any other stories. I'll look into it and let me know.
Oh, this was a creepy one.
Yeah, dude, this is weird.
Oh my god.
It's so weird. Okay, this next part of the podcast is where Leia comes on and talks about a real life story and we have to figure out who's right and who's wrong. So here comes Leia. Whose side are you on?
Here we go. Is the writer wrong or right? Am I wrong for hanging out with my friend's ex?
Ooh. This is gonna be interesting.
I, female 20, have been friends with Grace, female 20, for about a year now. We have been super close since we met. Grace met Danny, male 22, almost a year ago, and they really hit it off.
Oh boy.
They never made it official, but they were always together, and Grace fell really hard for him. Well, a few months ago, he broke things off with Grace and hooked up with a different girl, and they started dating almost immediately. It broke Grace's heart, and she didn't deal with it very well. 3 of my best friends since I was little are friends with Danny. So sometimes, when I hang out with them, Danny is there. I have made it as clear as I can to Grace that I do not hang out with him alone, nor do I talk about my personal life. But she does not care. She ghosted me for a few months because I went out to eat with my other friends. Danny was there. And when she talked to me again, I really thought we had made progress in her understanding of the situation. However, one of my best friends, John, invited a group, including me and Danny, to hang out at his house. When I told Grace about this, she flipped. She stopped talking to me, and then her and her friends started to treat me like I went out of my way to hang out with Danny. I haven't talked to them since, and every time they see me, they either laugh or send really dirty looks. I honestly just want to know if hanging out in a group that involves Danny is wrong. I don't feel like I have anything to be sorry for, but I'm worried I have made a mistake. Please be kind. I just want an outside opinion. Was I wrong? Whose side are you on?
Well, since Danny and the friend wasn't like official, like he didn't cheat on her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what is there, like, what can we say?
I think it's the fact that the friend or the writer knows what happened, like the history or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be kind of like a area to like touch, you know? If anything, what the writer should do is like, they could initiate hangouts with just the 3 friends.
Right.
Like, if she knows that Danny is going, if I were her, I probably wouldn't go.
Right, especially if she's trying to avoid Danny in her whole, like, she's trying to avoid him.
Exactly.
And then she's like, it just so happens Danny was there.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, if you know you don't want to hang out with him, it's going to upset your friend,
Mm-hmm.
and you really care about the friend, you should just be like, okay, you know what? I care more about my friendship with my friend.
Yeah.
And I really don't care about Danny.
Yeah.
So it's like, if Danny's going to be at anything, like, we're not going to be there. I'm not going to go.
I agree.
So the writer's wrong.
Yeah, I think the writer is wrong because I don't think I would put myself in that place.
I honestly feel the writer's wrong because technically, if I get it, right, they weren't official, right? But if you know it means a lot to your friend and the friendship means a lot to you, and you know you don't want to be friends with Danny, then you should not be hanging out in a setting where Danny's there.
I agree.
So as much as like I feel like the writer is kind of right, but also it's kind of wrong, I have to take a side and I have to say that she's wrong.
I think so too. Personally, I wouldn't put myself in that position, so the writer is wrong.
So comment if you feel the writer is right or who you feel is wrong. I don't know, but I feel the writer's kind of wrong. So thank you, Leia.
Thank you, Leia.
All right, guys, if you made it this far on the podcast, please hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. And also hit the like button because people that are strong-minded, that are level-headed, with a good head on their shoulders, would naturally just hit the like button because they want to just be positive.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, so just hit it. Just hit it. It doesn't cost you anything. We would really appreciate it. And if this video gets 6,000 likes, we will be doing a social experiment, and maybe we could have someone that watches the podcast come on the social experiment too.
Ooh.
So let us know if you want us to do a social experiment, and also let us know like any stories you want us to talk about or anything like that. And also comment any other suggestions that you want us to talk about for next week. As you guys saw throughout this video, we took your guys' suggestions from last week and we talked about it this week. So we'll see you tomorrow on TikTok, and we'll see you guys next Saturday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Yes, we're on those platforms also, where you could just listen to our voice if you don't want to see our face.
Yeah.
There is that option, just for everyone out there.
We'll see you on the TikTok.
God bless you guys. See ya.
Love ya.